Hello, so the full release of the game is amazing and it's probably one of the best games of the year, and I have to say I'm playing on brutal PvP solo duo server. I thought I'd never play on something like this, but apparently I am, just because the game is so good. Sadly there are no official servers to support the brutal duo solo PvP servers. So I guess this is what we have. So if you want to just have a fun game and explore the game at your own pace, you need to do a couple of things. Now, again, it might depend on your playtime, on your knowledge of the game and some other things, but if you follow the tips you will have a lot of fun, because you'll not get stuck in the beginning of the game or you have a weird loop where it's kind of closing down on you because you cannot get stronger. So let's go over the top 10 tips and then we'll speak about some of the bosses. Now, tip number 1, gear level is the main PvE stats. The bigger the difference in gear, the more damage you deal and the less damage you receive from PvE, and this is why higher level bosses feel a lot stronger. So just having the gear level is the most important thing for PvE and progression in the game. So try to work towards it all the time. But gear level doesn't affect PvP in any way, so wear a full set for PvP or whatever it's higher level for PvE. So kind of discern between them. Tip number 2, don't farm in the early game. After you reach iron and cotton, you will not even need the low tier resources anymore, so just build what you need and kill the bosses and then move your castle. You'll need a lot of iron and cotton to make the gear for the servants anyway, so you'll not even use that for the servants. Tip number 3, after you kill the initial bosses, move to the new area. Relocating your castle is easy, so you don't decorate your initial castle too much. You only need 2 or 3 refining stations of each, and of course the crafting tables, and then you can just move them here. I didn't even have the floor put down before I moved the castle. So after I moved the castle, I put the floors down, I made the rooms, I made everything very nice and cozy. Tip number 4, the spells. Now I don't want to waste much time over here, so let's go some of the basic for the spells. Blood is basically good for PvE, general PvE, because of all of the healing. It's also a general purpose magic school. Unholy is very good for bosses and when you're just trying to kill a lot of enemies in PvE, like, entering a castle or something like that. Ghost is very good for PvP, especially because some of the crystals you can put on them. For example, you can put a heal on your Frost Nova for you and for your ally, and some of the other stuff. But is also good because of things like this, like giving you more heal. Again, just a lot of healing. Unholy, well, it's just good because it's summon skills. Now, for my personal choices in this playthrough, I think I love to combine these things. For example, if you have the corrupted soul, you can condemn your enemies, meaning you'll deal more damage to them for 5 seconds. And you'll also spawn a skeleton. It's kind of great, and this is not even the jeweled one. For the other skill, I just prefer the illusion magic. It's a bit weird, but I got lucky with my spectral jewel. Look at this. It will bounce one more time. So as you can see, it will bounce and do damage on a few enemies. And then it will also weaken them, so it will reduce the damage they deal, plus you can also trigger Phantasm. You get a stack of Phantasm, so it will reduce your spell cooldown by 1% and grant you a chance to reset the cooldown on cast. And the skill can stack. Now I think the idea is that every time you use a skill, you have a chance to trigger the cooldown, no cooldown on cast. So you can even use this skill 3 times. Yeah, it has two charges, so that's why it's so good. As for my ultimate, I just prefer the skeleton army for obvious reasons. They seem to do quite a decent amount of damage, but they don't last long, sadly. It also inflicts condemn on nearby enemies, and that's why it's also pretty good, because the skeletons will last 8 seconds. These ones last only a little less, I think 5 seconds or something like that. Anyway, but as you can see, just skeletons and dealing more damage to your enemies, very good in PvE, because the bosses will sometimes get distracted even by the small skeleton. This can help you kind of do a lot of other damages, and yeah, you'll have your crossbow and do this. So yeah, it's very good casting this using the crossbow and then just going all in. Now, tip number 5. Build all of the storage containers to keep inventory management to a minimum. Your secure container is where you keep all the crafted resources for building and crafting. Now, I recommend you build all of these because once you enter your base, you should have something like this. You put them over here, Then you just go and click on everyone and just put everything where it needs to be. I cannot stress how important this is later in the game, because you will have a lot of resources to work with and you'll not really understand what the deal is with all of them. So as you can see, over here I had my coins, but to be honest, I don't really need to put the coins over here. I have to move them. Yeah, these will be some of the more important resources. Of course, it protects your base against, being raided and other stuff. So you get the idea. Those raiders, but I don't even need that one for now. I guess this is the next tier and I should put it over here. So yeah, and as you can see, you're basically going to put all of the resources in the storage over here, and then you're just going to check all of them and just get the more important ones and put them in a vampire lock chest. You don't lose them, but it's also much easier for you to know where everything is that is important. For example, if I need a plank, if I need an iron ingot, if I need anything else like cotton yarn or something like that, I always know where to get them, and that's going to be a massive help if you're going to play the game for a long time. Of course, then you can make your castle pretty. My castle currently is like a pit stop. I enter it, I stay 1 minute max, and then I go out again, which is exactly the ideal setup. Okay, let's go to team number 6. So basically craft better gear as you kill more bosses in Act 1. Refine the materials you find, and for that I recommend the Shadow Walker set, just because of the bonuses it has. As you can see, it gives you critical strike on each equipment piece, plus movement speed 8%, plus increases your gear level by 1. Is great, because I pair it with the Ring of the Dawn runner, which is more spell power but also more movement speed. In most cases you will get hit by bosses by their attacks because you cannot move out of the way fast enough, so that will help a lot with it. And then I also had the Merciless Crossbow. I only made the Merciless Crossbow in the beginning. So how do you do that? You open all of the chests and also all of the better loot chests. You buy the Merciless Crossbow recipe with copper coins from the merchant. My base was, let me see, it should show me over here as well. My base was over here, but I guess the castle, the plot was already taken over. My base was over here in the beginning, so I recommend you have somewhere around here. And this merchant was pretty close to me, and I could go over there. I bought the recipe for the Merciless Crossbow, and that's it. That's all of the weapons I had in the beginning of the game. And as you gradually get everything together, because this will be very hard to put together, especially the Shadow Walker set, you will use all of your copper coins before you leave to buy all of the books and give them to the Devourer. Because yes, you should buy the books, give them to the Devourer, and then you'll get pages, and then you can unlock everything from the research desk. As you can see, I have almost unlocked everything. I'm missing just 3 recipes, which will probably be easy to find because you'll also get some other paper stuff. Okay. 21. I'll leave that as it is because I want to explain something. And that's it. Then you have to move your castle and you have left the tutorial zone because this is the tutorial zone. Don't waste a lot of time in it. In number 7, don't bother trying to capture servants unless you have the dust color, which is given by killing the level 50 boss Leandra. And there's her name, I think, no. Yeah, the Shadow Priestess. Without this, it's just a pain to get your minions safely back to the castle, and most of the times that will not even work. By the way, this is a joke, don't take it seriously. This is a thief that I think he was 150. No, he was 100% a thief. Oh yeah, expertise is pretty nice. I think that's subscribe and like. He was a lower tier one. Anyway, it took me 1 hour to get these 2 characters, so don't even try it. You will have to do that with the stone I showed you. In number 8, keep all of the seeds for your garden, so don't throw any seeds, and also try to get more as you play. Try to get a lot of cotton seeds if you can, and all of the other seeds will also be pretty important. Like the blood rose seeds will be super important as well. Sunflower and some of the other stuff as well, but just keep all of them because you'll make a big garden at some point. And probably after you reach this point, it's time to make the garden. You need everything that can give you an extra advantage, and some of the potions and some of the alchemy stuff will definitely be super strong. Not just talking about the brews that offer resistance, but also the brew of ferocity and some of the other stuff that will be crafted a bit later. As you can see, I haven't even unlocked them, but I'm preparing for that as well. Like the blood rose brew. If you have, let's say, 10 of them, you always take one with you when you're going out adventuring, maybe one or two, depends on how you're doing, and it can be a massive help. Tip number 9, explore all of Danley. Now, probably you will see, hey, that's kind of a basic tip, more or less, but it will help you plan your activities. You don't just need the iron mine, you also need a lot of other things. Or you need to see the map clearly. For example, if you go over here, you should plan your route for the cotton. Cotton, okay, cotton farm over here, over there, over here, and over here. And then you can just retreat back to your base. That's the cotton route. You also have the haunted iron mine over here, but later on you have the bear farm. You can also go through here and get iron, which is much easier because there will not be as many people. You can also get gem veins from over here in the bedrock pass, which will be much easier than just getting the random gems you find while out adventuring. And there are a lot more tips I have to share, of course, but to save some time, I'll not mention all of them. Another one that I really recommend you check out is the Church of the Dam, because this will give you the Scourge Stones. Also over here, it's very important, because you also have a waypoint, the waygate. But the Graceful Village has workers during the day, and sometimes you can find a worker that it's at least 20%, 23% broad quality, but usually you can find some better workers. They're not so hard to kill. But what else can you find in the Graceful Village? Well, in the night they turn into werewolves, so I don't recommend you go over there. And during the day, well, the server has a bit of a boosted loot system, but this is also brutal, so you'll find some of these items. Anyway, more importantly, over there, as you can see, I found some gem dust, I found some scrolls, which are very important. You just have to go there. I'm not sure how often he respawns the resources, but if you do that, as you can see, you can also find the jewels that are tier 2, which is very important, and they're pretty easy to get. It's basically a village with villagers. The scrolls and some of the other stuff. I don't think I got 200 copper coins. Yeah, I picked them up from my chest because I wanted to move them. Also got a cotton yarn from that place, so definitely worth looting when you have the time, when you have the free time. You also find a lot of horses over here at the horse track. The lumber mill will also have plants and cotton and copper and horses in case you need some things from there. Another location I liked was the Bastion of Dani, but probably a lot of people will be farming over here for the reinforced planks. The militia encampments are also pretty fun, but also the abandoned farms. Again, you just have a lot of stuff to do and a lot of stuff to explore, and you need a lot of stuff to get from these locations. Now, tip number 10. This will sound like it's a weird one, but trust me on this one. Don't put your castle in a good location if you are on a PvP server raiding. Why is that? Because all of the castles that are in a good location will get raided a lot. And I'm pretty sure... yeah, I was looking at this castle over here, and this castle over here was raided. So any castle that is in a good spot and seems out of the ordinary will probably get raided a lot. So... I don't recommend you build anywhere in the central location over here, because this one will probably be looted a lot. Some of the other ones as well. As you can see, I just went over here in the middle of nowhere in a barren and toxic wasteland. But it's kind of annoying to go through, and yeah, it's going to be a hard game sometimes, but it's a good location from many other points of view. As you can see, I just can teleport over here, do the cut and run, and then straight back to my base. Usually I prefer this route, because it's out of the way, and if it's during the day, I can also stay by the Graceful Village. Now, that's all the tips I had, and now let's speak about the bosses and some tips how to get them and some particularities for the tips. The wolf, well, what can I say, your first boss. It will be hard, but you'll manage it sometimes. Now, what boss should you choose from these three over here? Well, I think you should go for Arrow the Stonebreaker first, because he's not as bad and he doesn't have as many minions and you can kind of skip his attacks. And also this boss is very good to farm, because when you kill the boss and he has a lot of minions along him, you destroy also the copper vein ores over there. So just go into the mine, get the chest, kill the boss. Even though you have killed them a couple of times, you might get an unsullied heart, plus all of the good loot, so it will be worth doing a couple of times. And then you should go for Rufus. But only during the night. Rufus is very hard to fight during the day, only during the night. Probably if you have some help it will be good, but otherwise just go during the night and take your time with it. He's a very slow and methodical boss. Killy the Frost Archer. Well, Killy the Frost Archer has a few particularities. The most important one would be that you can kill the camp, the south side of the camp, and then just wait until she arrives there. And then you can also free the bears and the wolves. The bear and the wolves will actually fight against her because she's their capture. So if you want to make the fight easier, just use the bear and the wolves against her, clear the camp beforehand, and just hide behind the well or the tents. Not inside the tents, because that might be a problem if you go inside. Over here, Gore Swine or Grace on the Armorer. Well, Gore Swine is actually pretty easy to beat. You don't really have a lot of stuff at that point when you're trying to fight him, but you just have to follow Gore Swine around until he meets Lydia. Lydia will destroy Gore Swine. Make sure you just follow him around, or Lydia, or draw him to Lydia. They will meet quite often, so he's a very easy to kill boss. Based on the Armorer. Well, this is a bit of a tricky boss because of his movement set and some of the other stuff, but after you learn it, you'll actually do the fight a lot of times. So you're supposed to use the armor to destroy his caltrops, the things he throws on the ground. And then you're supposed to also be a little more careful so you don't get cornered into a corner. That's it. Not so bad if you learn his movement set and destroy the caltrops, plus don't sit in a corner. Be careful of the archers. Kill the archers as fast as they spawn. The archers will deal more damage to you than the boss itself. And over here we have some other stuff. Well, Nibbles is not so important to destroy, but as a tip, in case you have forgotten how to summon him, where is that thing? Yeah, you just have to put the right resources over here, in the vermin nest. You'll summon him. As you can see, you need unsolid heart and grave dust. Nibbles, the putrid rat. Then you can turn to Clive, the fire starter. Well, to be honest, Clive is one of those bosses that you have to fight during the night only. To be honest, it's not so hard now that I have learned some of his movement set. At this point, you should have almost your entire gear set completed. He's kind of fun, and remember, you also need to take a lot of sulfur after you kill him. So the way you want to do it is to just keep moving. Shoot him from range and just keep moving, and to be honest, don't try to melee him, he's going to be a pain. Also, try to kill with AoE, because if he has a minion, he'll surely be a problem, so yeah, just take your time. AoE is very important over here, and long range fire. Lydia is probably the hardest boss to kill in the beginning of the game, so you might want to put off on that until you get your entire gear set ready. I couldn't kill Lydia for a long time because it was very hard. So once you have your full set and your weapon is ready and also your ring is ready, then you can try and kill Lydia, but just attack her near a big rock. If you're not near a big rock, you'll have a problem. And I mean a big rock, so that she cannot hit you with her arrows, and just, I don't know, move around the rock. That will be kind of funny to do, but it will be enough. Also, the fisherman, Finn the fisherman is super strong. I don't recommend you fight him. Just wait for a bit later. Now, Nicholas the Fallen. Oh, this is such an annoying boss. So the only way I found that I can beat him reliably and without many hassle is to simply wait for him to teleport. When he teleports to a location, run away from that location and just put down the rain of bolts. And then just move away from him as possible, as far away as possible, because you want to avoid the little skulls. And also just attack the skeletons with normal attacks, and the boss you only attack with your abilities, meaning that the rain of bolts and your two other skills over here. It will take a while, and you'll just have to run away once he's done with the teleporting, because you'll summon a lot of skulls, and then you have to be careful. But this was a massive help since it summoned a skeleton, and sometimes he would use his projectile against the skeleton. Yeah, it's going to be a painfully long fight, just like Rufus the Foreman. It's similar to Rufus in a way, but yeah, it's going to be a little harder. Now for the Kodia, the Ferocious Bear. Well, to be honest, just get as much gear as possible. You'll probably be moving your castle into Dunley or above Dunley if you don't have a free plot over there, and just get an iron weapon. I recommend you get an iron weapon, otherwise it will be very hard to kill this bear, because on Brutal he has even more bears to help him. So just move over. This fight is tied to mobility, so mobility is the keyword over here. As for Polora, the Fey Walker, well, I haven't killed her yet, but there's not much to say about her. I think the trick in killing her is to be careful where she summons her little minions and try to destroy them, and just be prepared for a very long fight. I think potions will help here a lot more than other fights. It's a very annoying fight to do, so that's why I left it for last, because she doesn't give you anything useful either. At least this guy gives you the bear form, which you can use to get into the iron mine, iron over here, iron cave, to mine iron free without, you know, the dangers of being smashed. But yeah, I forgot to mention it. So when you kill Clive the Firestarter, you also need his explosives, minor explosives, to attack Quincy the Bandit King. Now you can also... where was he? Bandit Stronghold over here. You can also just wait until the gate was open. So while I was playing the game, I was basically doing laps around the map. So my castle was over here, I was doing a lap over here, Bandit Copper Mine, I entered the mine, killed the boss, opened all of the chest, exit out, went over here to the Bandit Armory, looted everything I could, the wheatstones and some of the other stuff, went over here, saw if it's open or not, rinse and repeat, and I also went over here to the merchant to buy the books. So basically in a circle, I was just running around like that. Didn't even mine a lot of sulfur, because you can get sulfur much easier later. You just need enough to make, I think you need 16 sulfur to make the forge, or not the forge. What is this called? The smithy. Yeah. So that will be enough. And oh boy, Quincy the Bandit King. Tell you, you'll probably be level 41 when you get to him, and to be honest, he's always going to be a big problem because he will summon stalkers in this version of the game, brutal difficulty, but you just have to always kill his minions, avoid his attacks, and bring potions to heal, because it will be a very long fight. I don't recommend you try and fight with him, and once he is done with his charge, be careful because it throws a projectile. So basically you always need to have your dash free, available to you, kill when you can, and just attack him when he hits a wall or smashes something, because then he'll get a little bit stunned. And in his final form he'll just run all over the place for 3 or 4 turns, but that's okay since you can avoid it, because that's why I specifically mentioned that you need a lot of mobility. So 4% movement speed, 12% movement speed in total, so that will help you a lot in the beginning of the game. And after you kill him, I really strongly recommend you go and destroy Beatrice the Tailor, because this will unlock the next tier of items you need, which is the loom. And if you along the loom over here, you can make the cotton yarn, and with the cotton yarn you can just go to the tailoring bench and you can make some of this stuff, which is kind of cool, right? Also remember, you can make a better cape. The beginning one is health and sun resistant. This will be garlic, silver, and a little more max health, so make that as well. And then just farm the wool thread from the militia camps around your base or wherever you are. And that's basically Act 1 ended. As you can see, you don't really need to kill some bosses. For example, you don't need to kill the bear or Pelora. You can also skip Finn until you're much stronger, because you need to kill the serpent first. That's a very important thing. Start the fight, attack him, and then you kill the serpent. If you don't kill the serpent will kill you basically all the time. But if you kill the serpent will not respawn, and then you can just focus on the boss. The other little fish are not so important because you can just kite around them and move around them. The fight is actually pretty fun once you understand that the serpent is the boss, and if you kill it, no problems. Although I mentioned, it's kind of an annoying fight. You need to have a lot of patience. I prefer to go there when I'm overpowered. And actually consider Beatrice the Tailor an Act 1 boss, because without her you cannot get the next tier of armors, and without that you cannot get the next tier of gear. You need to go for these guys. I'll speak about these guys in the next video. Meredith, yeah, you can just kill her because she dies to the undead boss in the mine, and that's not such a hard thing to do. So, enjoy and have fun. Bye bye. Also try the PvP servers. They are nice.
It is my honor.